want you to please make sure that you're seeing my screen and that you're listening to me. So if you want just like to say yes in the chat box, that would be awesome. Or no, yes. All right, great, awesome. Okay, so well, first piece of information, I would like to share with you my email so that I can share with you some information in case you need extra links or information related to GRE, as well as for TOEFL for those ones who maybe didn't make it last time. Okay, so my name is Jair Ayala. I work for ETS. And I am also, well, I am a former teacher of English, and these days I'm a teacher educator. I've been working in this field for about 20 years. So if you need anything about like test taking skills or like anything related to this type of exercises, please do not hesitate to contact me, and I could just like give you some pieces of advice, all right? Good. So with no further ado, so let's start over. If you happen to have any questions or comments, do not hesitate, write them down, jot them down there in the chat box so that I immediately, I'm going to look at them and I'm going to answer right away, okay? And once, oh, before I forget, thank you all of you who have contacted me before. Hope I have answered your queries. And of course, if you have any, just like do not hesitate and let me know. Good. First question, I'm gonna do this today is like a little bit more interactional. So what do you think GRE stands for? What's the meaning of that, those three letters? What does GRE stands for?
Graduate Record Examination.
All right, awesome, great, nice, thank you very much. Thank you, yes, you know, like I ask this because sometimes some people actually ask me like, what is GRE? I say like, it's okay. I mean, like, it is okay. The question is absolutely valid, but then we should know like the nooks and hooks of what we're going to put ourselves into. Okay, so yes, this is the graduate. This exam is for your cases, people who are going to apply for grad studies, either master's or doctoral or postdoctoral studies. And this exam is requested in various fields, not only let's say economics, not only human sciences, but it is also accepted in various other fields. So my very first question, my second question would be like, do you know, are you absolutely sure that you do need to take this exam? That is based not only on Fulbright's request, but also on the recipient university requests. Okay, so please let me know whether you do or you don't know that yet. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Do you have to take this exam compulsory? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, yes, of course. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Good, great. Okay, awesome. Great. Okay, so this is a question that I always asked because we take these exams, not only GRE, but also TOEFL, not only because we want to, but sometimes because we have to, okay? So we do need to take these exams as part of our academic profession, our academic career. You may not ask me, I mean, like, you may not know, but I have taken these exams as part of my career as well. I am also a doctoral student, so in order for me to be able to graduate from my master's and to apply for my doctoral, I had to take these exams, okay? So this is not something that we want to, but it is an obligation, academic obligation. Okay, great. Okay, so this exam measures the it is not an English exam. Important to know that. It is a test in English that measures the essential knowledge that we could have in critical thinking, academic professional writing, and mathematical knowledge. But it sounds, I think it sounds a little bit like harsh, a little bit difficult. Honestly, it is not difficult. And my emphasis is English. I don't even have a minor in math or numbers related. And I took this exam. And what I'm telling you is that when we are not familiar with math, we may think that this is difficult exam, one. And two, when we're not really close to language, we may think like, oh, this is difficult too. No, actually, no. I am a commoner, you know, like a regular one. And I took this exam and actually the result is not unexpected. It is based on what you prepare yourselves to. And I'm going to explain to you what test taking skills actually we need to be aware of. Okay, good. So this exam is valid, as I was saying, for various grad studies, specifically for grad studies, as I said, master's and doctoral studies. And this exam is used in a lot of universities. It is a lot easier not to find where to find not this exam is accepted than actually to find out where this exam is requested. Okay, um, here we're going to talk about today general test. Also, it is important for you to ask your recipient universities what test you are requested to take. Some cases, you are requested to take subject tests. Make sure you know what test you should take, okay? Um, in general, most universities, I would dare to say that up to 90% of universities would ask for the general test. Since this is a placement, since this is a requirement for you to apply, okay? In some other cases, universities would ask for the subject test. And also, in that same line of thought, make sure you know the subject test, okay? What the subject is. Okay, this is general information, so please make sure that you do take notes of this. You find this information in the website, but of course you can also double check here with me. Um, Today, important information. Today you may take this exam, the at home edition, GRE at home edition, as well as as TOEFL special home edition. You may take GRE at home edition with one very good advantage. I personally took TOEFL last week, and I chose the day and the time for me to take it. I decided to take it on Tuesday night. I am married. I'm telling you this information just like to contextualize, not that I want to talk about myself. I am married and I have two little daughters. One is 9 and the other one is 4. So they are loud and hyper all day long. I chose Tuesday because that is the day that I've seen the connectivity in my house is easier, is faster. And 2, I chose to start taking my exam at 9, right after they went to sleep. I am right now in my studio, but for connectivity matters, I prefer to go to the living room, and I took the exam there in the living room by myself. Now, I'm telling you this because I absolutely believe that by taking the test at home, it has various benefits. I am telling you one right now. I mean, like you can yell, you can do anything, and no one is going to tell you to hush. No one is going to tell you anything because you're going to be by yourself. So honestly, this is like a double benefit. First, you're going to be, as I say, en la comodidad de tu casa. And 2, you can do anything that of course is within the limits of test taking, and no one is going to tell you not to do it, okay? So I think the anxiety, the stress is absolutely lower when you're test taking these exams from your house. If you want to have more information about the conditions and the logistics for this exam, either you can visit the website, I can share with you that information, or you can just drop me an email and I can exchange with you the information as well, okay? But once again, before we start into the matter itself, think about taking the exam from your house, all right? Suggestion, instead of only using Wi-Fi, try to use internet with cable. That helps you a lot, all right? So that is like the 2 pieces of advice that I would suggest right now. Okay, so here you have the timing, here you have the dates. Oh, important, for the GRE dates, you can take it 24/7, any day. All right. So if you feel like taking it on a weekend, on a holiday, I mean, like it depends on your availability. You choose the day and the time for you to take GRE. Whereas with TOEFL, you may take it between Sunday and Wednesday, and also you choose the day and the time. All right. So that is also important information. And once again, please feel free to ask any question. All right, good. These are the fees. GRE is $205 and TOEFL is $240. Okay, good. So this here, please take a screenshot or take notes of these two websites. ets.org/GRE is for you to start browsing information about the exam, and also take the gre.com. There you can find, in this second side, you can find, I'm going to ruin myself, you know, I'm going to ruin you the webinar. In the second side, you can find a mock test. This mock test is your lifesaver. This mock test is going to help you take a very similar test to the one that you are going to take for real, like, you know, like the official exam. So with these two websites, I mean, like, if you have something else to do, you can do it, because actually this is the bottom of the information I'm going to share with you today. Okay, good. Now, the exam is going to take about 3 hours and 45 minutes. And of course, this includes the breaks. Important, please make sure that you do take the breaks. Also, make sure that you, I am speaking to you as a teacher. I used to teach this test-taking skill course at the university. And these tips that I'm giving you are not only part of the exam, but part of any test taken, all right? So please, sleep well. 1 week before the test, do not think, do not do anything related to the test. Sleep well. If you are going to take the test, let's say what I did, if you're going to take the test on Tuesday, which was my case, that day I didn't do exercise. I didn't exercise, and I do it every single day. So that day I decided not to do exercise because physically taking a test is exhausting. All right. So mentally try to be relaxed, right? When taking GRE home, it's too uncomfortable to write math equations in the acrylic surface. It depends. Yes, thank you, Carlos, for that question. This is a very good question. For that, I would suggest to use this one. Okay, here. To use this type of erasable markers. Don't use the thick ones. Don't use the ones that we use for the boards, because when you use, look, I'm going to show you this one. You see, is thinner. So with this one, it is a lot easier. Kimberly says it is, but all we can use, yes, but that is why I'm giving you the tip. What I did was to use this type of marker. All right, so don't use the thick for the board. Yes, don't use this ones. Yes, look at the difference. Okay, here, look at the difference. So don't use these ones, but use the little one. All right, so that is a lot more comfortable, and actually it is a lot easier because it's softer to write with these ones. And of course, try to rehearse this before taking the test. I suggest you to take not only to have this plastic surface, the little envelope, but also if you could have them the little board, that would be a lot easier. I used that one and that worked out for me easier than using the other one. Although I had both of them at hand in case, all right? So I had both of them in case, and I showed them to the proctor. I had, look, the board, and I had the acrylic one, the plastic folder. Okay, good, thank you. Oh, I love these questions. Okay, so sleep well, eat well, relax. You are going to be stressed out, so try as much as possible that day just to chill. Take the breaks. Although I know that we want to get rid of that exam right away, we do need to take the break. So stand up, stretch out, get some water, drink it, sit down, go to the bathroom, and then you continue. Okay, good. Let's move on. Here, there is a 10-minute break after the third section. So in that 10-minute break is that I'm telling you, just like to stretch out, go to the bathroom, stretch out. There is no problem. Or for example, when it says you are on a break, you don't need permission, all right? So you just like, you are on a break, and you use the break, okay? Okay, and there is a 1 minute break between the other sections. In that minute break, you can also stretch out. You can just like, stretch out your arms, your legs, try to think of something different. And then just like to try to take this minute as a refreshment, okay? Good. Here, I guess you have already started your rehearsing, your practice with the test. So I would suggest also to mark your answers, make sure you have them, and before you move to the next section, go and check that all the answers are already marked. Don't leave any answer without any, don't leave any question without any answer, right? So make sure before you move from one section to the other, make sure that you do check that this chart is completely filled out or full or filled out, okay? Good. All right, so as you know, the exam is divided into three main parts: verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and analytical writing. Just for curiosity, what do you think, which you consider is the most difficult for yourself personally? Could you please write it down there? Math, verbal reasoning, quantitative, okay. All right, okay. Okay, yes, absolutely. Yeah, and this is beautiful because this is something that we do need to pay attention to. Don't compare yourselves to others. Like, oh, how come he did better in this one? No, no, no. This is something absolutely personal. And if you say, oh, but this person has been training for 2 months and I only have 1 week or so. I mean, like every single person is absolutely different. We have totally different strengths. Use them. And it sounds trivia, but every single difficulty, we need to transform them into an opportunity. Now, if you think that your weakest ability here would be math, try to work on math. And of course, the other ones could be also studied, but in a less strict way, all right? So that actually we're going to guarantee that we could give an account on the three skills, okay? So yes, this is important, but try to become your weakest your strongest by increasing the number and the strategies of study for that specific one that you consider is difficult. Now, very important, as a teacher as well, we cannot show in a foreign language what we don't have in our mother tongue. My point, if we are not good at math in Spanish, we are not going to be able to understand those concepts in English. So I would strongly suggest you to study and understand those concepts first in Spanish, if that is your mother tongue. And then after, you are going to move on to understand the same concepts in the other language, okay? I am not talking about doing translations. I'm talking about doing transferring of information. What we know in one language, we can easier and easily transfer it to the other, all right? This is what I did. And now, my weakest, as some of you, it was math. Then I started to learn, not to study, to learn fractions, and yeah, that was it, fractions. So this is math of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I started to take some classes of math in Spanish. And then I took some math classes in English. All right, so that was what I did when I had to take this exam. So in the same line of thought, I would suggest you to do the same with the other two skills: verbal reasoning and the writing part, okay? So, and as any other thing in life, by doing is the best way that we can learn, okay? So I would suggest you to please find here information that is going to help you. Definitely, you need to start by taking one diagnostic test, which is the mock test. Based on these results, you are going to make your own decision upon, I am going to study this first, then this one, you start your own study process, your study program, okay? This is not for an English test, but it is, however, for non-native English speakers. Yes, Kimberly, you're right. This is this is exactly the exam that we are talking about. We cannot think that we can give an exam in math when we don't know math. Now, the exam is a math exam, let's say in English. Okay, so yes, it's an exam of knowledge rather than an exam of English. So this is something interesting here because we don't need to be native-like speakers or native-like language knowledge people, but it's just a matter of getting to know math, how to use it, main ideas of this exam. Thank you, Kimberly, for that question. Okay, are you going to send us links for the mock test? Right here. This is the takethegre.com. You can find it there. You can find information there. Thank you, Kimberly, for this question. And of course, at the end, I'm going to share with you some other links as well. Good. So also, I think you are already familiarized with the screen. Make sure you know, and you not only that you know, but also that you use these buttons. It doesn't mean that you're going to be scored whether you did or did not use the buttons. No, actually, no. But you are going to be more fouls. Please calculator. We're going to do a little bit of practice today. You may not use the calculator, but the calculator there is there for a reason. So if you think that you could, that you should use it, go for it, okay? Good. And of course, make sure that you know what the buttons are. If you are better, you are working a bit, or look at the timer, or simply hide the timer. All right, some people get stressed out because of the time management. It depends on yourself. Once again, what Jair does is that I always look at the time and I look at the number of the question. So I say, okay, I still have certain time and I could devote certain amount of time for every single question. Therefore, I pace my exam myself. This is what Jair does. I count the number of questions and I think of the time that I have left. So I would say, okay, so I have 10 questions more and I have 15 more minutes. I need to do an average of 50 seconds per question and so forth. This is what Jair does. Time management skill. Okay, next. Here, this is important, and I just said something. It's a myth buster, important. Points are not deducted from wrong answers. All right. So if just like if you don't know, just by pure mere sheer luck, this is like chiripazo, all right? I don't know what you say that in Spanish, but pure mere sheer luck, you just, if you don't know, mark any answer. All right, so this is one myth buster. So I guess I have already given some information on tips here. All right, so I'm going to try to do as much as I can throughout this presentation. Okay, so first, the three parts of the exam are going to be presented in this order. The first part, you're going to deal with the analytical writing. It goes from 0 to 6. That is the scale in which this is assessed. Now, also important to mention, these scores are valid for 5 years. And take the exam, you report your results, and also you can choose the best results that you that you have valid. So if you have taken the exam before within the last 5 years and you take the exam again this month, you still may choose which result you want to send to what university. All right. So if you say like, no, 5 years ago, it was way better than today. So you choose that result and you ask ETS to send that specific result to that specific university, or of course to Fulbright as well. Okay, now that is the first part. The second part is verbal reasoning, and it is graded between 100 and 170, and in 1 point increments. So basically, the more questions that you answer correctly, the more questions that you are going to receive in that same, let's say, difficulty. All right. And the quantitative part, which is the last one, is exactly the same, and it is also scored between 130 and 170. Okay, here you have one example of, this is something that you can do in the website of ETS. You can take a diagnostic test. So for you to see where you are at. It is important to read and every university requirements. Some universities do not accept my best score. Yes, thank you very much, Kimberly. I mean, like, this is as if we have worked this out together. It is very important to touch base with the universities before you take any exam, and to ask them specifically what their requirements are. There are some institutions that actually just need you to take the exams. That's it. There are some universities that don't request for a score, whereas there are some others that ask for a minimum. There are others that ask for a minimum in one of the 3 skills. There are some others that ask for a total in the 3, and so forth. So please, thank you very much, Kimberly, for that reminder. Touch base with your universities, ask them exactly what the requirement for you to enter is, so that you understand before you take the exam, what is it that you have to do. For example, yes.
Just really quick, sorry to interrupt, but as I understand it, my best score is only something for TOEFL.
For TOEFL, yes.
And
for TOEFL,
GRE,
and
you can send your whatever score you want from the past
absolutely.
5 years. You can send it to whatever school.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much for your comment, Colin, as well. My best score is only for TOEFL, and this is very important. What we're doing in TOEFL is a replicate of what we have always done with GRE. All right. So yes, that is also important there. Thank you, Colin. Anytime, please. All right, good. Here, Power Prep. This is the test I've been telling you about. Here is the mock test that you should take. Why does most universities with minimum GRE scores requirement consider quantitative? Yes. Well, Juan Lozano, thank you for your question. This is universities' autonomy, right? This is what every single university would decide to do with their scores of the exam. That is why I was mentioning. Please make sure that you know what university you're going to submit your report and what their exactly requirement it is for you to apply to that specific university. Okay. No, I wouldn't be able to say why, right? Because this is each university is autonomous to decide upon the requirements they have for acceptance of students. All right. Good. Thank you, Juan, for your question. Okay. So this is the mock test that I was telling you about. Please make sure that you do know it, that you do use it for your preparation. Here you find some more, ets.org/GRE/prepare. You can find it, you can find several exercises as well. And just like for you to get a little bit about them, we're going to do some practice today on each of the skills that are tested there in this GRE exam. Okay. This is also information that you could use. Here, you can receive information in regards to what is new in regards to the exam. The newest is that you can take the exam from your house. And also, if you have already registered for it, if you want to change the date or the modality, so just like make sure that you have this information. Also, if you are going to take the at-home edition, make sure that you have the ProctorU telephone contact number, okay? Just in case you needed to reschedule or that anything happens with your connectivity while taking the exam, you may contact them directly, proctor you, so that you can do what it is necessary. Basically, if you had any issue with the connectivity, you would have to reschedule. But one of the advantages that you have is that you may take the exam as soon as you reschedule it, okay? Since this exam can be taken 24/7. Okay. Okay, so first one, verbal reasoning. Some people already said that this one was one of the most difficult ones for some. Okay, so that is okay. This is what we need to understand that is going to be tested in the exam. They are going to test us on the ability that we could have about analyzing and evaluating written material. What is the skill here? Synthesize information. Synthesize information, summarize information. And as you have maybe done it already, you are going to be asked to summarize the information that you are provided in some academic abstracts. So they are going to give you some information, they give you some time for you to summarize or for you to read other paragraphs, let's say, about that possible summary that you are supposed to do, and then choose which would be the best in case you were like the one to write that synthesis or that summary of the information that you received. Second, you're going to analyze relationships. You're going to connect and synthesize information among components or parts of sentences. Same situation. What we're going to test here in this exam is how we make relations between the information that is contained within the same paragraphs. And last, but definitely not least, we're going to recognize those relationships among the words and concepts that support that given information in the text. Okay? Well, in the content of verbal reasoning, we're going to deal with of course, it's a computer-based exam. So we're going to, in this case, it's going to be internet-based. So we have two sections that are 30 minutes each. And then each section contains 20 questions. And I emphasize on this information so that if you are the ones to control, to measure your timing, you would know how much you could have per question. All right. Now, there are three different types of questions. The first one, reading comprehension sets. The second one, text completion questions. And the last one, sentence equivalence questions. Okay. What is good score? Thank you. Thank you, Juan de Dios. That is a very good question. I would not be able to say that answer. Oh, and that gives me another idea to answer a question before you actually ask it. I wouldn't be able to tell you what a good score is because this is an answer that university should provide you with. All right. I would say 500 is a good number, but there could be some universities that would say like, no, I mean like just by taking the exam, only by taking the exam, and I'm going to take a look at one of the three skills is valid. So once again, I'm sorry, I don't have the answer because the answer is provided by the universities you are applying to. Okay, and then also, I am not going to give you the answers of the exercises that we are about to do. Maybe I'm going to show you, but I'm not gonna give you a straight answer, all right? So that we can use these exercises as well as part of our preparation. Okay, good. Now, to accommodate different interests and backgrounds, the balance of questions are based on natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities. And now, the most important here is not what you know about those topics before you take the exam. Actually, the most important is how much you can learn from the texts that you read. Once again, as I said, I am a teacher of English. This is my background. I speak Spanish and English, and I teach that. And last time in TOEFL, what I learned in the reading was what I was tested upon. And there was one reading about about rock formation. The other reading was about the difference between iron and steel. And then, of course, never had I studied those topics, but then the information I was asked was from the texts that I just read. Okay, so do not worry if your background is not related to these topics that I'm mentioning here. Because as it says here, no specific knowledge of any subject is required. What they are going to test you is on your reading comprehension, on your learning from these texts. Okay, now we're going to see the type of questions, as I said, reading comprehension, text completion, and sentence equivalence questions. All right, the reading comprehension sets consist of a passage and one or more associated questions. Here, you are required to read and to understand what is read, recognizing the purpose and main idea. This is what we always do. Like we always ask like, and what is this topic? What is the main idea? What is this reading about? Second, specific points, detailed information, detailed supporting information. For this, once again, it is important to take notes. The first piece of advice, time management. The first skill that I would suggest you to develop or to be aware of is time management. The second, note taking. This is super important. When we take notes, we are summarizing, paraphrasing, and synthesizing information. So only when we are taking notes is when we actually are using our all senses, in this case in English. So in this case in English, but if we don't know how to do that in Spanish, that is of course going to be even more difficult to do so in English. All right. And the third, recognizing assumptions. This is what we would say as inferences, as to infer from the given or not given information. Now here is the information that is not or that it is explicitly present in the exam, in the test, in the texts, okay? And then they are going to evaluate the purpose and structure of the texts. So here, as an input, I would suggest you to continue to read academic documents, research reports, and of course, in the website, you can find a lot of information that are similar to the content, to the texts that you are going to be exposed to during the exam. So I would suggest not to use these, I call them watered down texts, which are like modified. They are not realia. I would suggest to read articles, journals, like academic journals about the topic that you're interested, or maybe easier about some other fields that you are not familiar with. Research reports are going to help you a lot. Develop those skills that you are going to be tested in GRE. All right. Each reading passage contains all of the information needed to answer the questions that are as a follow-up of the reading exercise. Okay, here we have also three types of questions. Now, important, these are the three question types, and here is what these questions are going to ask you about, and here is the type of questions. So we have multiple choice, selecting one answer, multiple choice, where you can select one or more answers, and you have select in passage questions, okay? Here, what you're going to do is that you're going to choose the sentence in the passage that fits best to a given description or to a given requirement, okay? So that is information that we should have clear in mind, just to say, this type of question. Then in that same line of thought, of course, when you have a question type that is multiple choice to select one answer, it is going to be less time than when you have to select two choices, okay? So in that same line of thought, if you want to think, maybe for this select one choice, I'm going to spend 50 seconds average, whereas for the other one in which I have to select two, I'm going to try to spend not the double, but maybe a little bit more than selecting one, or and so forth. Once again, these are just some ideas that you could incorporate in your test preparation. Okay, here, I'm going to give you, okay, before I'm gonna give you the instructions. So I want you to please get ready some paper and a pencil, or if you want, also you can start using your board and your marker and the folder and your marker as well, so that you can start developing this skill there, just like to take notes on this on this fabric, on these materials, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. Let's see how we do with 3 minutes. And then I want you to please pay attention to the type of question and the type of answer that you're going to choose. And then we discuss a little bit about this, okay? So can you please let me know if you are ready in the chat? Yes, thank you, Jose Julian. Thank you, Alexis, Ana Maria, Joanna. Oh my goodness, thank you very much. It's always good to see that you are actually there, and it is not as we have been used to these webinars days. All right, I feel so lonely, as Sting would say. Okay, good. So I'm gonna give you 3 minutes for you to read and answer the question. Okay. Now your 3 minutes are going to start as soon as I show you the, 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 the screen, and also I'm going to time you up. So your 3 minutes are going to start in 3, 2, 1. You still have 1 more minute, but if you already have the answer, please share the answer with us in the chat. You may use numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 5 seconds. 3, 2, Your time is up. Okay, just leave it there. There is no problem. There is no problem. Thank you very much, Federico, Angelica. Let me see. Kimberly, Angelica, Viviana, Federico, Diana, Johan, John, Guillermo, Andres. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, did you have enough time to answer this question? No, thank you very much. Good, 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 good. Yes, okay, absolutely good. Now, this is what I would suggest you to do as well. Now, you have to try, you have to time yourselves up, and then you have to say, well, I can't spend 5 minutes. I can spend more than 3. I can't spend more than any type of timing. Otherwise, I am going to be I mean, like, I'm not going to have enough time to answer all the exam, right? So that is why it is very important time management. Use the cell phone, use your timer, and you can, maybe this was your very first time doing this type of activity, so that is fine. Maybe you already finished long ago, that is fine as well. Everyone has a different pace. Don't compare to the others. Just do it yourself and then try to beat yourself up. You know, like try to beat your time up. All right. So you say like, okay, I'm going to read this in less than the first time that I spent. I'm going to try to see what it is. Okay. Now, did you read the instructions? That is super important. Then, of course, it's a multiple choice question, and then select one answer choice. It is very important to know that. And in every single screenshot, you're going to find that information. So that is very important to know what is it that you have to answer. Okay. What's the question? The passage addresses which of the following issues related to Glass' use of popular elements in his classical compositions? What is your skill? What are they testing you here? Remember what I just mentioned before? What are they testing you here? Identify the issues. Yes. Yeah, in this case, to identify would be to for detailed information. Identify underline idea behind the paragraph. Yes. Exactly. Look, exactly. Some of you said detailed information, general information, and inferencing. Yes, this is exactly. Now, recognize some information. What can you do to demonstrate that you can actually say you understood the general idea, detailed information, and the inference information that you could have gotten from there? By synthesizing, by summarizing information, okay? So here it says, the passage addresses which of the following issues, all right? Which of the following issues? Here, you're going to say, well, in this sentence, yes, exactly. In only one sentence, all that this paragraph was about is summarized, is synthesized. Okay, so this is one of the skills that we need to start thinking about. How can I develop my synthesis? How can I develop my summarizing? Okay, by trying to be more concrete, by trying to be more specific, by trying to use very specific language. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so let's see. I am going to take a look at the answers. I have 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 1, and 5. So there is no 2. This is another thing that we could and should do. Starting by selecting the odd one out, choosing the answers that are not there. So instead of having to choose from 5 possibilities, we're going to choose from 4. And of course, we're not gonna waste time by reading the distractor, the distracting sentence or phrase or item there. All right, so we try to identify the answer and also the one that is not related at all. All right, and then we are going to be like facing the situation. Either it is 3 or 4, 3 or 4. So in this case, we're going to read specifically those 2 possibilities, okay? Now, now let's see. Ouch, here. According, I said 3 or 4 based on your own answers, correct? Not that I am saying that that those were the answers, but most of you said 4 or 3, and there was one person who says 1, and then there was Alberto who said 5, and he was hesitant as well. Some people also said number 1. Once again, it is okay. There is no problem. There is no problem if you didn't have it correct or anything like that. It is just a matter of getting to know how this exam works, okay? I want you to please take a look at it, and then it's okay, Diana, don't be sad, it's okay. This is part of the process. This is part of the process. And once again, it's a process. So we are not going to be super experts test taking because this is a process, okay? So I want you to please, if you can, take a screenshot and take maybe, yeah, a screenshot works better, or a picture of this so that you can use this information afterwards for you to say, I got it. That is why it is not 3 or 4, and that is why it's 5. All right. So I would like you to please think on the reasons why you find to yourself why the answer was 5 rather than 4 or 3, as you had thought before, okay? So please use this as part of your own learning process. Okay. Alberto is happy there. Some people say that it's better to read the questions. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Colin, very much. This is another possibility. This is another possibility as well. This is something that Jair Ayala doesn't do. I do the other way around, but it doesn't mean that it is not possible or that it is not correct. No, no, no. I mean, like, as we say, there are many ways to kill a cat. And in Spanish, we say, hay muchas formas, cada quien mata sus pulgas de su propia forma, something like that. I'm sorry. Yes, there is where you need to pay attention to. You develop your best test taking skills that are yours. And what works best for you is what is best for you. All right. I can tell you some ideas. And of course, this idea Colin has here is absolutely brilliant. And I have heard it by many people. If it is best for you to read first the questions and then go to the text, you can do it. Also consider time management there as well. Julian says, popular elements do not appear out of place in Glass's classical music. Very good, thank you, thank you. You see that you can start developing, if you haven't already developed those skills of synthesizing, summarizing, paraphrasing information. Thank you very much. Thank you for your participation. Okay, we're going to do another exercise. We're going to do another type of question here. So please get ready. We're going to do something similar. Just try to feel relaxed. Don't stress out. If you don't have enough time to answer, it's okay. If you answer incorrectly, it's okay. It's just a matter of getting yourself acquainted, familiar with this type of activities, okay? So let's do another one. All right, your time is up. Thank you very much. Okay, this one was a little bit faster because you had already read the same text, so it was, let's say, easier. But of course, it is not easier, but it is faster to answer. Okay, so thank you. One for sure, and maybe three. All right, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 2, 1 and 3, 1. Okay, great. Now, same question as before. Did you know what type of question this was? Here it says select one or more answer choices. So here, when they tell you that actually you can select more than one, it is because definitely there could be more than one answer. All right. So we just need to think about that. Okay, so most of your answers were 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Oh, there's 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay, good. Now, before I move on, I want to answer Alexis Herlane question. What is the meaning of ethos here? Thank you very much. And this is something there super interesting. You didn't ask for the meaning of ethos per se, but you asked for the meaning of ethos in the text. So this is exactly what we need to think. And Ana Maria says the spirit, I think. And then Ana Maria says the essence. I personally was gonna say the grounds. I wouldn't have used this language, flourish language as Anna, spirit. I would have said like the grounds, right? The grounds, you know, like the base. All right. So for each one, each word, I'm sorry. For each one, this word would have a different meaning, but actually, this is the meaning of it. The grounds, the base, the essence, the spirit, the soul, if you may call it. Okay, thank you. Now, for the second question, okay, ground, soil, spirit, grounds, yes, base. Thank you very much, Federico, for writing that down. Okay, good. Oh, nice. I feel like if I were in a classroom. Awesome. Thank you very much. You cannot imagine how much this makes me feel like that I'm talking to someone and not just to the screen. Okay, that I'm interacting. Okay. Here, so let's see the possible answers. I'm sorry, let's see the answers. 1 and 3. Okay. Now there's a happy face now. Okay, great. Maybe now, as I said, it could be easier to answer this type of questions because as you could have done, you said like, no, definitely number 2 doesn't have anything to do with this. So by eliminating, you can also get to the answer. And once again, in this case, it would have been easier to eliminate one of the 3 options than to actually focus on 2 options. Okay? And also, it was an improvement in regards to time management. Okay, good. Now let's move on to another one. This is reading comprehension. And here they are going to ask you to select the sentence. We're going to do as Colin suggested. We're going to read first the task, and then we're going to do the reading, okay? Okay, I would not say long-standing if it was revived. Okay. Thank you. This type of conversations are the ones that you actually stayed with the same writing, with the same papers. They're like, oh, I wouldn't have said that. I would have posted live differently, right? Absolutely correct. Yes. Everyone has a totally different position before every single text. Okay, good. So here, select in passage. Now, I'm going to give you 1 more minute for you to read, and then I show you the possibilities, okay? And this minute is going to start in 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds. Okay, now let's see. All right, this would be the answer. I'm sorry, this would be the answer of this. Select the sentence that distinguishes two ways of integrating rock and classical music. Okay. Okay, great. Now, you see, interesting here is that in this task, we spent less time. I mean, like less time than the very first reading. So that is why I would say that the first reading should be deeper and trying to get the general idea. In the other tasks, they are going to ask you for different information. All right, so the other ones, the second and so forth questions should be a little bit lighter because they could already, I know, of course, it's something that Colin mentioned. Maybe you want to read first the questions and go back to the text. And then you could just like look for very specific information within the text, as maybe you could have done in this text. Okay. Alberto Mario says the last one, Alejandra, embrace the ethos of popular music without imitating it. I would not say, okay, thank you. Good, good, good. Thank you very much. Good. So these are the three types of questions that we have for this part of the test. In the mock exam and in the diagnostic exam that you find in the website, you can practice as well. And also in the website that I shared with you at the beginning, there are various samples of these type of questions that you can practice. Just in case you are not, taking like a course or anything like that. Not that I am against those courses, but if that is your learning style, of course, this is what you should do, okay? I am more into autonomous learning, especially for us, for educated people like yourselves. So I am more into this type of learning. Although exceptions exist, and of course, if you think that is better to have a tutor, like a teacher helping you out there, it is valid as well. Okay, now we're going to do, we're going to do the other type of question here, which is a completion. All right, here you are going to, for each blank, select one entry from the corresponding column of choices. Fill all the blanks in the way that best completes the text. So in blank 1, blank 2, and blank 3, you have 3 choices. You select one. Okay, now I would say I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and then you are going to say in your answers B1, B2, or B3 according to your answers. B states for blank, and then blank 1, 2, 3, and then you would say A, B, or C according to each of the answers. B1 is the blank number, and A, B, or C would be the position of each of the choices that you are going to select. All right. For this, I'm going to give you then 2 minutes, and your 2 minutes are going to start in 3, 2, 1. One more minute. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Here we have. Nice. All right. Okay, nice. Look, some people actually are that skillful that could write all the all the words completely. All right. Overshadowed, underscore, superficiality of our theories, overshadowed, obscure, superficiality of our theories. 1B, 2B, 3-1. That would be B1A, B1B, B2B, B3C, B1A, B2B, B3C, all right, ABA, ACC, ABA, ABC, ACC. That would be ABC, ABC, ACC, ABA, ABC, ABC, overshadowed, obscure, superficially for theories. All right, ACA, ABA. All right, ABC. All right, let's see what the answers are. ABC, as most of you have already mentioned. Overshadowed, obscure, and superficiality of our theories. All right. So I want to see happy faces there. One of these type of questions, does the score changes whether the answer is 0-0? Oh, yes. Thank you. That is a very good question, Federico. The answers are either correct or not correct, right? And remember that if the answer is not correct, that is not going to take points off your score. This is an additive test. The more correct answers you get, the more points you get. Okay, so thank you. This is good. All right, only the happy faces. Okay, and most of you guys got this answer correct. Okay, so as you can see, what here they're doing is testing your comprehension. And the type of question here is text completion to see what answer, what word or phrase fits best, which is inserting text, also a type of question. Okay, good, good. So important, once again, read the type of question and also try to have, I don't know, maybe like an average of timing that you would spend answering certain type of questions. In this, you spend less than 2 minutes. All right, in this one, you spend less than 2 minutes. In the exam, you have the possibility to select or to drag the answers. So that is easier like that, okay? So in this case, you have to type, but we're in the exam, in the real exam, you don't have to type, but you have to, you have to what? You have to drag or select. Okay, now we're going to do another one that is very similar. We're going to read a text, and based on this, we're going to choose some words. So let's see how it works out for you. For this one, I'm going to give you 1 minute and 30 seconds to see how you do with your timing, okay? So get ready. Your 1 minute and 30 seconds start in 3, 2, 1. You still have 30 seconds and you already answered. Great. Ten seconds. And your time is up. Okay, great. I am super happy. I'm super happy because actually you see that the pace that you have put to yourself, the pace that you have placed yourself for this type of exercises has improved in less than 1 hour. I mean, like I've tried to reduce the time from 3 to almost 1 minute, and you have been able to answer these tasks. So I guess this is something that you should also pay attention to when you are preparing yourself for this exam. All right. So it says, select two of the answers. It says select two answers. All right. Some people I think did only one. Okay. Okay. So this is important. Please make sure that you know what they are asking you. All right. Sometimes because of the time management, we rush up too much, and then we don't have enough time to actually understand what is it that they are asking. Okay, so say 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, CE, okay, thank you. Deflect, okay, deflect and shrug off. All right, good. 35, you got it right. Okay, awesome. Okay, so can anybody give me a synonym of deflect? Yes, reject. Okay, scatters. Yes, yes, reflect. And a synonym of shrug off? Evadir. Oh, I love that one in Spanish. Thank you very much. Once again, as long as you have the concept clear, this is what actually matters. Shrug off to shrink. Okay, but shrug off, because this is a two-word verb. You Googling it? And this is disregard. All right. A synonym of shrug off that would be to disregard. Okay, good. Uh, Thank you, Diana Trujillo. Shrink off, right? Shrug off. Okay, good. Shrug off means to disregard. A synonym of it could be to disregard. And then there is a question here. There was a question here about how long are we taking for one of these type of questions. Does the score changes? Okay, no, there was another question about timing. How long are we going to have per question? 2 minutes? Once again, remember that you have 20 questions in each section of 30 minutes. So ideally, you could spend about 1 minute and 30 seconds per question. But as we have seen today, there are some questions that could actually take us more than 2 minutes. So what we need to do is to be efficient and try to spend the least time possible when we're dealing with, for example, these type of questions, so that we can make up some time, extra time, for the questions that would request from us 2 answers or more, right? In which we have to read like longer texts. Okay, good. Okay, thank you, thank you. Good, so let's move on. Here, we're gonna do a little bit of quantitative reasoning, and then here, as well as I explained to you what it is tested in verbal reasoning, in the here in reasoning, we're gonna be working on a quantitative section. Here, it is basic mathematics skills. If you are, if your background is engineering, that is more than what you would need, and you are going to see, and of course you have seen in the exercises that you have done previously, basic mathematical skills from school, right? We're going to talk about some understanding of elementary mathematics school concepts, such as we're going to see fractions and so forth. Okay, And I guess you already read the last part. The ability to reason quantitatively and to model and solve problems with quantitative methods. Now, here, another myth buster. You are not going to be taking points off if you don't use the calculator, okay? So you don't need to use the calculator if you don't have to. I mean, like if you can do this math in your head, there is okay, okay? Now, mathematical knowledge expected of test takers. First, basic concept of arithmetic, which is 6th grade. Algebra, which is 8th grade. Geometry, which is 7th grade, and data analysis, which could have been one of the courses that we could have taken at the university in the case of data analysis for quantitative reasoning, okay? Here, it includes high school level mathematics in statistics, generally no higher than Algebra 2. And here, important, it excludes trigonometry, calculus, and higher college level of mathematics. When I said about what we could have taken at the university, I refer to statistics. If you have taken statistics at the university, I mean, like, get out of here. I mean, like, you are more than ready for this, right? Because this is complex, all right? The statistics that we're talking about here are the ones that you can do in your head, okay? Good. Now, it includes the following topics: elementary operations, number line, estimation, percent, ratio, and rates, absolute value, properties of integers, such as divisibility, odd and even integers, and prime numbers. Right? So for those of you who are familiar with math, you know what I am talking about, and then this is basic math, okay? But as for me, in the case that I didn't know anything about that, I was thinking like, oh my God, I am like totally toasted, right? No, actually this is basic math, okay? Good. It includes the following topics. Now, once again, these are the topics of arithmetics here. These are what it is. This is what is tested. And here, these are the specific topics of algebra: algebraic expressions and manipulations, functions and their graphs, coordinate geometry, solving equations and inequalities, and then modeling and solving word problems with algebra. Right? So this is algebra, the first course of algebra that we took at the school. And in geometry, what we're going to be looking at is the elementary geometric figures and concepts such as lines, circles, triangles, quadrilaterals, and other polygons. Angle measure, area, perimeter, volume, and the Pythagorean theorem. Mathematics, I remember that when I learned it when I was 6, and then I relearned it when I had to take this exam. Intuitive geometric concepts, for example, the sum of any of the two sides of a triangle is greater than the third side, and so forth. So once again, I'm going to be talking from my experience. And the very first time that I heard this, I was like, oh no, my goodness, this is going to be super hard. But when I was taking my math classes in Spanish, I understood it all. I was like, and then immediately I said, like, ay, de esto fue de lo que me estaban enseñando in high school, right? So that was a totally different story. First, once again, if you are not familiar with these topics, please learn them in Spanish first, all right? Good. Note, the ability to construct proof is not measured. And once again, I remember high school when they told me, what actually matters here is not the answer, but is the process. Here is the other way around. You can jump, you can skip the process. Just go straight to the answer, right? Remember that in school, they told us, like, no, yes, the answer is correct, but what I needed to look was the process. Here is the other way around. Okay, now, data analysis, it includes the following topics: basic descriptive statistics such as mean, median, mode, range, interquartile, range, percentile, and standard deviation, right? That has to do with statistics. Frequency distributions, interpretation of data presentations, including bar graphs, line graphs, circle graphs, box plots, and scatter plots. Elementary probability, including random variables and probability distribution, such as the normal distribution, and counting methods. Okay, so this is very important. Hopefully, well, this is being video recorded just in case you want to go back here, but also if you're taking screenshots or pictures of this information, this is going to be super useful for you to start thinking on how you're going to organize your study plan. Okay, now, important information as well. This computer delivery test contains 2 sections. Each section is 35 minutes. And then in each section, there is going to be 20 questions. The questions contain the following question types: multiple choice with 1 answer, multiple choice with 1 or more answers, and quantitative comparison questions, and numeric entry questions. All right. So once again, please remember the type of questions that we're going to be working here with.
Hi, Jair.
Yes.
Or Colin, excuse me.
Yeah. Yes.
There is someone in the waiting room.
Oh, Colin, if you could please let him in. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Kimberly, for the heads up. I don't have the power. That is Colin. Colin is the doorman today. All right, thank you, Colin. Thank you, Kimberly, for the heads up. All right, so as I was saying, here is the type of questions that we have for this section, and it is very important also to know what is it that we're asked before we actually answer. Okay, so let's move on. Quantitative reasoning measure the computer delivery section level. It's adaptive. Now, if you don't answer correctly, the next question is going to be at the same level of difficulty.
Ya me salí, mi amor.
Marlene, are you there? All right, thank you.
Sorry.
It's okay. And so as I was saying, the more correct answers you have, the more topics you're going to be asked. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to be more difficult. It means that if you have correct one answer about the one topic, you are going to advance to the upcoming topic and so forth, right? So that is like, this is what we call level adaptive questions in this type of, in this section. Okay. Good. Multiple choice, we already saw that part. So let's do the little practice. For this one, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Let's see how it goes the first time. It's only 1 minute. It's a multiple choice with 1 answer. And let's see. Once you're done, please write down your answer here in the chat box, and then we can chat a little bit about how you answered this question. Okay, so you're going to have 1 answer. Well, sorry, you're going to have 1 minute for you to answer this question, and your minute is going to start in 3, 2, 1. Five seconds. And your time is up. Okay. All right. Kimberly, you are on fire. So it says, okay. It says Juan, Carlos, Paula, Alejandra, Andrea, Kimberly, Alexis, Juan, Viviana, Guillermo, Federico, Joanna, Joan. All right. All right, so you wrote 30, 33, 40, and so forth. Now, let's look at the question. It says, the question itself, what was the approximate? The approximate. All right, Kimberly, thank you very much. You once again, you're on fire. I mean, like that was my up next question. Thank you very much. I was going to ask you how you came up with the answer, right? So, es una regla de tres. That is simple like that, right? So every time we do these type of exercises, we just don't even know how to say regla de tres in English, but we just know that by maybe common sense, right? But then this is exactly what I am talking about. Did you have to use the calculator? Yeah. Was it compulsory? I mean, like, did you have to? Well, maybe. In the head. Yes, thank you, Diana. In the head. Yes, yes. Nope. Yep. It's faster with the calculator, could be, or it's faster in the head. Yeah, both of them, right? Your pencil. That's it. Correct. Perfect. That's it. And of course, it's a regla de tres. There is not, I mean, like, what other explanation can I give here? It's just like as simple as that. Because this is the type of calculations, as if you can remember from what we just showed before. These are the type of questions that we find here, okay? So we don't need to find the correct absolute answer, because here, what's the approximate cost in dollars of the gasoline used in driving the car 350 miles, all right? Some people wrote 40. Would be 40 a correct one? Because it's the approximate. Is the approximate, okay? Is the approximate. So there is like a doubt. Some people wrote yes. 30 is closest to 33, which was the correct answer. I mean, like the answer that you could have gotten from the mathematical operation, all right? So that is why it is closest to 30 than to, okay. Very good. That is out of, yes, absolutely hum-rum. I mean, like 31.9, 31.3. Yes, that's it. So yes, that is why the answer is 30, not 40. All right. Although 40, of course, is close, but it is not as close as the other one. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good. So let's do another one. Let's do another one. So this is multiple choice with one answer. Now, let's once again read the heading. Read the heading. Okay, for this one, I'm going to give you 1 minute and 30 seconds. You still have 5 seconds, and we already have some answers. Thank you very much. Okay, your time is up. Thank you very much. All right, Kimberly, I mean, like, whoa. I think I'm going to pass the co-host to Kimberly. Okay, good. All right, so Kimberly says 52,996, and then the answer would be 51,996. All right, the answer says Christian is B. Ana Maria says 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I got lost with that one. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 2, 5. B, C, and D from 5, 3 and 5, 2, B, C, D, E, 2, 4, A, B, C, 3, 4, 5. Okay, great. Awesome, nice. Now, I would like you to please type it there how you came up with the answers. Creo que eran 1 y 4. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay. How did you come up? What operation, what mathematical operation did you have to go through for you to do it? Multiplicar? Fractions? Okay. All right. Multiplication. Yes, of course. Viviana, thank you. Juan de Dios, thank you very much. Dos multiplicaciones, and thank you. I mean, like, this is what I am talking about. You see that you are not speaking in English here. You're speaking in mathematics, because the knowledge that you have is not in English. Your understanding of mathematics is in Spanish. All that we need to do is to have that concept clear in Spanish, and then we're going to transfer that same knowledge into English. All right, now here we have Federico just gave us the answer. Lower bound and upper bound. There you go. And this is what it is called in English to do what we just had to do. Exactly, that is it. Now, super important. Thank you. Thank you very much, Federico, for that comment there, because actually that is what we did in English. But still, many people did it without knowing what it was called in English. Okay. Oh, goodness. So happy to hear this. Happy to read this. And now let's see at the moment of the truth. Okay. Okay. All right, here it says indicate all. Indicate all. All right. So it says indicate all such gross incomes. That is why actually everyone should have included it. Basically, everything that was more, that was higher, that exceeded. All right. Oh, thank you, Guillermo. I love this explanation. Gastó entre el 25 al 33% de sus ingresos. Me sirve para pasarlo a porcentajes. Thank you. This is the explanation, all right? So if we understand the math, we are reading in English, but we're doing the math operation in Spanish. And then we transfer that information once again in English. This is what we need to do, all right? Thank you. Guillermo, Federico, thank you very much. And of course, thank you all of you for participating and of course for sharing with us. This is the way you kill the cats. This is the way actually cada quien tiene una forma diferente de matar las pulgas. So this is exactly what you need to try out. Try, give it a try. I mean, like, if that works out for you, just go for it. All right? Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Happy faces? No happy faces there? Yes, most of you got it correct. Yes, there was 2, 3, 4, and 5, or B, C, D, E. Okay, great. Awesome. Next, we're going to do another one. We're going to do another one with about mathematics. So for this one, okay, sorry, no, because of the time, we're gonna move on to this one, which is related to geometry. Okay, so here, this one is going to be about comparison, and so you are going to have to compare two geometrical figures, and afterwards you are going to be asked the question. Okay, for this one I am going to give you 1 minute, then you give me the answers, and then also I want you to please tell me how you came up with the answer. Okay, so please take your time. All right. You took less than 45 seconds. And actually some people took 30 seconds in this one. Okay. Awesome. I'm really happy because actually, and now how did you come up with the answer? Did you have to use the calculator? Did you measure? Did you change the position of S? Won't change the relation PQPR. Yep. Yep. It was not possible, right? Yep. Absolutely. So did we need any mathematical knowledge? Did we need any math knowledge or language knowledge? I think it was just logical, right? So you read and you say like, okay, there is something missing here, right? So we can establish this relationship between this point and this point, but what about this point and this point? So we cannot get it, right? So by reading, we got it. Okay, good. All righty. Of course, the answer was not anything different from that one. All right. All right, thank you, Guillermo. Yes, yes. Okay, so this type of questions is very, very similar in the exam. And also in the mock test, you are going to have very well, to be acquainted with this type of questions. They are going to vary the figure, right? So you need to be super attentive to these type of questions. Okay. You need to know that in GRE geometry figures are not on scale. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, so maybe this could be a distractor to look at the figure than to look at the information given about the figure. Okay, so that would be interesting there. Okay, good. Thank you for participating there. Okay, now to analyze, I just left this last task to share with you because this is about analyzing information, you know, like uh, about reading, and then this takes time. And I don't know to what extent we could be able to do it, but I just want to exchange information here with you about this type of questions, okay? All right, so here, you're gonna be asked about analysis of given information. So analyzing information, synthesizing information, okay? Second, you need to write a response in which you discuss what specific detailed information evidence is needed to evaluate the argument and explain how the evidence would be weakened or strengthened the argument, okay? So here we are combining not only reading comprehension, not only inserting texts, but also inferencing information, okay? In the second part, you need to write down a response in which you examine the stated or unstated, as I said before, what is explicit or not explicitly mentioned in the text, assumptions or inferences of the argument. Be sure to explain, and this part is important because when you need to write it, this is be sure to explain how the argument depends on these assumptions and what the implications are for the argument if the assumptions proved unguaranteed, okay? Now, the third part or the third type of questions here is you're to respond in which you discuss what questions would need to be answered in order to decide whether the recommendation is likely to have the predicted result. Be sure to explain how the answers to these questions would help to evaluate their recommendations. Once again, if you can come again and revisit this video or take a screenshot of this information because this is exactly what you are going to be asked to do in this section of the exam, okay? Here, this is the second part, some variants of the task. You're going to write a response in which you discuss what questions would need to be answered in order to decide whether the recommendation and the argument on which it is based are reasonable. And be sure to explain how the answers to these questions would help to evaluate the recommendations. Another one, write a response in which you discuss what questions would need to be answered in order to decide whether the advice and the argument on which it is based are reasonable. Be sure to explain how the answers to these questions would help to evaluate the advice. Now, I am emphasizing in my reading here the key words that you need to identify when you are reading. You need to identify the recommendations, you need to identify the advice, you need to identify the arguments, so that afterwards you're going to be able to say, okay, so this is what they are asking me to do. Using this information, I'm going to make sure that these answers are going to help me evaluate whether this is or not reasonable, and so forth. Another aspect here, write a response in which you discuss what questions would need to be answered in order to decide whether the prediction and the argument on which it is based are reasonable. Once again, be sure to explain how the answers to these questions would help to evaluate the prediction. So we're talking about prediction, advice, recommendation. Write a response in which you discuss one or more alternative explanations that could rival the proposed explanation, and explain how your explanation or explanations can plausibly account for the facts presented in the argument. Okay, so due to time's constraints, we are not going to do it, right? Because this actually could take us some time for us to write the response, right? So we take easily up to, I mean, like in the shortest time, we could take us 10 to 20 minutes. So, but I would like you to please take the screenshot, and this is your homework after lunch, okay? I don't know if you mentioned this already, so I'm sorry, but at GRE test, there is a research section. A research section. Let me find out that information right away, Sylvia, and I will get back to you immediately, okay? So in the meantime, I'm gonna look for this information. I'm going to leave you here with this screenshot so that you can take the screenshot, and please do this as part of your preparation. Now, write a response in which you examine the stated and or unstated assumptions of the argument. Be sure to explain how the argument depends on these assumptions and what the implications are if the assumptions prove unguaranteed. Now, also, I advise you to please visit the website where you are going to find some samples. Okay, Kimberly, thank you very much for the heads up, because I'm just like thinking what type of research that we're working on, and I was thinking on a different type of answer. Thank you. Let me. I'm going to see Sylvia, if you could clarify exactly what I mean is trying to say, is that instead of two verbs. Oh, okay, yes, yeah, you're correct. I mean, like Kimberly, you read her mind as well. I mean, like Kimberly, I'm gonna pass on to you the co-host. Thank you. Yes, that is the correct answer. What Kimberly means, and Sylvia, your answer is in ETS, every single item, every single test question is being piloted, is being proved under testing circumstances to guarantee you and all these 82,000 universities around the world that accept GRE results, that all the questions are valid, are feasible, and are fair, not only to the student, to the candidate, but also to the institutions. So that is why one of these questions is being piloted, and the candidate doesn't know which of those questions is under piloting. So what you need to do is to answer all the questions, okay? Don't worry about, oh, this is not the true, this is not the real one that is going to be assessed, and this is the one that is going to be assessed. No, don't worry about that. Answer all the questions, because that is not going to affect your performance, okay? So just that is the best piece of advice that I could give you is just like answer all the questions as if all of them were going to be assessed. In the end, you are not going to know which you were assessed upon and which you were not assessed upon either. Yeah, Sylvia, it happens in TOEFL and in GRE. It happens in ETS exams. I wouldn't dare to say that this happens in the other exams. I mean, like the exams that are not ETS. All right, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much for the question. And Kimberly, thank you very much for the answer. Okay, good. So here, key argument concepts. Those are the concepts. Those are the ideas that you should include in your text. Make sure that you know them and that you include them in the outline. For the writing part, it is very important to include, not to include in the text, but for you to start working on your outlining. So you're going to write on a piece of paper, on a draft. This is the main idea. This is the supporting idea number one, supporting idea number two. So you're going to elaborate, as my students used to say, el esqueleto of your paper. Please do so. I strongly advise you to do so that you are going to have clear in mind what you are going to write about and what the sequence of your writing is. If you don't do that, you may run out of ideas. You may not have enough information to include, right? So make sure that you know what is it that you are going to write about. At least the headings or some bullet points, some keywords, okay? So make sure that you know your north, that you know where you're going, okay? All right. Questions of Lorraine Navarro. Oh, thank you, Alexis. ¿Cuáles son las instrucciones para agregar el código de las PAU y enviar los resultados? Porque en GRE no agrega el código después de terminar el examen. Me pasó la última vez. Okay, so I would suggest you to do two things. First, please contact the university and ask them for their DI code number. All right. Every single university recipient of our results has a number, a very specific number. And then with this number, you can register and then you can ask ETS to send to that number, which is the identification of the university, the results, okay? As well as with Fulbright. So please make sure that you do know those two numbers. I mean, like in your case, Las Pau and Fulbright. But for all of you, please make sure that you know those numbers before you take the exam, okay? So that you ask ETS to send directly the results to those recipient institutions. In this case, Fulbright on the one hand and Las Pau on the other. Okay. All right. And yeah, you find this information in the website. Also, the second part is like look for this DI code in the website of GRE, and it's the recipient universities, all right? Universities that accept this information. Okay, thank you, Alexis, for the question. If there is no questions, I would just like call it the presentation for today. Thank you very much for having attended. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you, Kimberly. You already received. That is on my behalf, Kimberly. I don't know if you guys already saw that Kimberly's already on lunchtime, and it was home delivery. I'm just kidding. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have, it's only a snack. I thought it was lunch. If you have a question, please, please, please do not hesitate. Contact me. I am going to write down here again in the chat my email. If you have any questions, please make sure you contact me. Maybe I can share some information with you that could help you. And honestly, And seriously, once again, thank you very much for what you are about to do. And I'm not talking about taking the exam. I'm talking about going overseas, going abroad, and going through all these sacrifices that you know you are going to do. And I know that this is going to be for the benefit of you, your families, and of course, us all Colombians. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you, and thank you for what you are doing. Thank you for having time. Goodbye.
Just before everyone gets
Oh.
off, I'm sending a questionnaire. If you can, just fill out this questionnaire. I put the link in the chat as you sign off today. And once again, thanks everybody for being here, and thank you so much, Jair, for your support to all the nominees, all the Fulbright nominees this year. What you're doing is super essential for us, and it's great. So we really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Colin, for the invitation. Anytime, you know, like I do this as part of my job, but actually I know that this is contributing to the country as what we are all doing together here. Thank you very much. Of course, thank you for your participation, Kimberly. Everything was as we had planned before, right? Goodbye. Thank you, Colin. I will see you next week, I think.
Okay,
Goodbye.
yeah. Thanks, everybody.